It's another gorgeous day on February 21st, 2011. Checking in from Montreal, Old Montreal that is, a little bit before 10 a.m. I'm heading off right now actually to the Bassin Bonsecours, which is right across in the harbor area from the Bonsecours Market, and there's skating going on there. My travel partner Gary has already abandoned me today. He said, "Oh God, you can go skating by yourself," because it's a crisp minus 15 Celsius at the moment. Very, very cold. Not too windy here on the Rue St-Paul, but I think once I get out into the harbor, it's going to be just a little bit on the chilly side. And this poor guy has to actually work outside the whole day. I feel sorry for him. So yeah, it's a crisp yet sunny winter day. Nice look at some of the high-rise buildings in Old Montreal. It's gonna be interesting. It'll be interesting to see how long I last out there on this cold day. Now, I've had an absolutely fabulous program so far already. We came into town on Friday via Vieux Montreal and then arrived at the historic Auberge Bonaparte. Got a little restaurant tour, hotel tour, great place, very historic. Across, basically just across the street from the Basilica of Notre Dame. Took a little walk on St. Paul Street downtown Montreal, and then visited a nice light show or multimedia show inside the Basilica. It's called And Then There Was Light. Also talks about the history of Montreal and the history of the amazing Basilica Notre Dame. Great dinner in the evening at the Restaurant Bonaparte. And then Saturday, an interesting culinary tour through Old Montreal. Really enjoyed that. Got to taste some foie gras and some nice samples of cheese, which I think is just around the corner here. I'm just coming up to this place, Marché du Vieux. They have all sorts of specialties from around Quebec. And then we visited Maple Delights, another place that has all sorts of maple products, very typical Quebecois stuff. Then we went snowshoeing in the afternoon, Saturday, on Mont-Royal with a fellow from a group called Les Amis de la Montagne. They protect the green spaces on Mont-Royal. And this is the first time I ever went snowshoeing. What a great experience. It took me about 5 minutes to get used to these things. I'd never been on snowshoes, but I love skiing and skating and all sorts of winter sports, so it wasn't a big adjustment, but that once we got into it was just phenomenal, because it didn't matter that it was icy and hard-packed, really hard to walk on foot. But with the snowshoes, it didn't make any difference. You just motored along and it was great. In the evening we went to Crescent Street, a place called Thursdays. Big entertainment spot. Bar, restaurant, nightclub. Also the Hotel de la Montagne is part of the complex. And then yesterday, another packed day. Roland Poirier, who is an expert tour guide in Montreal, took us on a driving tour of the city. Boy, did we ever cover a lot of ground. It was so much fun. We started with Old Montreal, went over to the island of Jean Drapeau, where we also drove a little bit on the Formula One race car track. We drove very slowly, mind you, it was extremely icy. Then a tour through downtown Montreal, Westmount, drove by St. Joseph's Oratory and then up onto Mont-Royal. And then he took us into the Plateau area of Montreal. And that's a typical sort of French-inspired neighborhood, but also a Jewish neighborhood in the Mile End. We had a lovely fresh bagel that we actually had to line up for. Couldn't believe I had to line up for a bagel. That's how popular they are. And then he took us into the Restaurant Market, which is apparently the largest outdoor fruit and vegetable market in North America. But because it's winter, obviously, we only saw the indoor portion. But it was great, and we had a nice lunch there. And then we spent the afternoon in the circus at Plateau, which is just next door to the headquarters of the Cirque du Soleil. And had a wonderful time, and then in the evening a nice dinner at an Indian restaurant called Gandhi, right down here in Old Montreal. And look at where I am right now. Place Jacques Cartier, the old main square of Old Montreal. Beautiful spot. You can see all the special things that they've set up for the winter festival. It's called Montreal en Lumière, or Montreal Highlights Festival. They have all sorts of things set up here. This is Montreal City Hall up on the hill. And so this is where it all happens. Montreal has so many festivals going on all throughout the year. I think they just finished a festival at the end of January, beginning of February, called La Fête des Neiges, which had all sorts of events going on. And now, of course, the Montréal en Lumière Festival. And so there's lots of stuff going on. If you don't mind the cold, Montreal is a wonderful destination in the winter as well, because you've got so many culinary options, so many cultural options, and of course sports and outdoor activities as well. And that's what I'm trying to do today. Gonna try to burn off a few of those calories that I accumulated in the last few days, because the food is just too good here. Love this view here, the Bassin Bonsecours. Trying to remember my history right now. I think it was built and opened in the late 1840s. At one point was Montreal City Hall, if I remember correctly, and was used as a market until the 1960s. And now it has all sorts of galleries and art and shops and all sorts of stuff. I'm going to try to check out the Marché Bonsecours maybe tomorrow, have a walk around inside, check out the different places in there. And next to it is the Bonsecours Chapel at the end there. Beautiful, beautiful old church. And just down the street, I think, is going to be where I'm going skating right now. So I'm going to sign off from this clip because my hands are absolutely freezing, and I'll be back to you just a little bit later.